The mechanism of a ballpoint pen.
The parts of the pen consist of the barrel, which holds all the components, the spring, which holds the cartridge in place, the ink cartridge, it holds the ink and is part used to write with, the push button, the button that is pressed to control whether the ink cartridge is extended or retracted, the cam, which rotates when the push button is used and locks the ink cartridge in the extended or retracted position, the plastic guide, which helps rotate the cam into different positions, fully retracted and writing mode, is stationary and part of the barrel, and the sharp-toothed gear. It helps push the cam upwards and helps it rotate enough to catch the guide.
When the push button is pressed down, the spring becomes compressed and allows the pen to be in an open position. While in the open position, the end of the cartridge, which holds the ink, extrudes out of the barrel, allowing the user to write with the pen. While in the open position, when the push button is pressed down again, it causes the spring to decompress and for the cartridge to be pushed back into the body of the pen. Since it is back in the closed position, nothing extrudes outside the barrel, thus not allowing you to draw with the pen.
There are four main stages to how a pen works with its extension and retraction. When the push button is pressed down, the cam is pushed past the plastic guide due to the tooth gear as it's part of the button, and the cam rotates due to the slopes of the gear in the cam, and this produces the first click as the cam is snapped to the tooth gear. This signals that the ink cartridge is now fully extended. When the button is then released, the cam is rotated and pushed back into a shallow plastic guide well. This causes the second click. Because this part of the guide is shallow, the ink cartridge stays pushed outside the pen barrel and is ready to be used. When the push button is pressed down again, the pen will click yet a third time as the cam is once again rotating as it moves past the plastic guide, removing it from its locked position, and is again fully extended. And since the spring pushes the cam towards the bottom, once the button is released a second time, the whole thing is back to its retracted position as the cam is then funneled into the deep well in the guide. A fourth click can be heard as the cam snaps to the bottom.